Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the Airbus A350. Today doing the first flight on the channel with the version 1.0.11. Now, there's been a small delay in me doing this video because just when I recorded the preview announcement and then started recording the second flight, I got activated from standby duty, so I had to go to work. Well, here I am, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So today we're going to fly from Taoyuan International Airport, and I probably pronounced that wrong. For this reason, we'll do it easy and just call it Taipei, even though it technically speaking isn't. ACO Design Studios have just released the latest version of the airport, and I gotta say it looks quite good, especially going back in the history of flight sim in Asia, where scenery has often been rather neglected. So really looking forward to this one. But for the time being, let's get right into it and let's start to set our Airbus A350 up for today's service. So starting with the basics, the engine master levers off, start selector on, thrust levers idle, landing gear lever down, wiper selectors off. Then we can quickly check the batteries to make sure the voltage is sufficient, which it is, and then we can start powering it up. So batteries coming on and external powers are coming on. Alright, our plane starts powering up, and while it's doing that, we can head right down into the EFB, to the flight up status, and do our SimBrief import. And here we go. So, we're going to fly to Bali today on a rather short flight for the A350, just about, well, just about under 5 hours. So this is what our route of flight is going to look like. Fairly straight and forward across the Philippines and then across the sea all the way down to Bali. In terms of the significant weather chart, we are just about scratching that area of CBs over here, scratching another area of CBs down here, and then finally scratching one more over here until we have free and clear skies to Bali. There is a volcanic eruption in the area, so that's something we are going to look out for, and that we will also talk about in the approach briefing for sure. But apart from that, there is nothing significant along our flight. So then let's go ahead and have a look at the local airport weather, which is, well, quite rainy over here, honestly. We do have some northeasterly winds, light rain, and fairly cloudy sky. But over in Bali, things are looking quite different. 27 degrees and just scattered clouds, with the high probability for runway 09. In terms of our destination alternates, weather is looking pretty good at pretty much all of them. So with that in mind, we can go up to our flight plan. Departing on time means arriving half an hour early. We do have a pretty high cost index as well today, and we're going to climb right up to level 400 and later on level 410. Now, apart from that, if we go down into the fuel section, I really don't see much reason to take any extra, so 31.9 is the minimum. 32 tons are going to be perfectly fine for me. So let's go into the load sheet, do the SimBrief import here. We can set the zero fuel weight, and we can slightly adjust our fuel load to 32, like this, and set the fuel as well. Alright, and with that, everything is loaded down here, so let's just quickly go over to the ground operations and enable the GSX controls. So we are going to request boarding down here, and with that going on, I think we can move right into the continuation of the preliminary pre-flight procedures. So the ADRs is coming on, all three of them. Then, since passengers start embarking, let's also quickly turn on the signs already, even though that's not technically speaking part of the procedure just yet. Then we can do the recall for 3 seconds, like this, and normal, excellent. So dispatch page isn't simulated just yet. Fire test. Looks good. Then we can start up the APU. And that's it. Alright, so while that's ongoing, let's go ahead and move down into the FMS for a very quick overview here. A350-900 nav database is up to date. Any of the previously stored elements are deleted, and then we can just go ahead and do our company flight plan request. And while that's ongoing, we are going to get our first ACAS printout. So I'm inserting that weather, and look at that. So, brand new in the aircraft, we do have a functioning printer, and when you rip the stuff off, you're going to get it right over here on the side. Now, this is just basic aircraft initialization that it prints when you select it, so nothing special, doesn't give you any information that you wouldn't know anyway. But nonetheless, pretty cool to see these small things here. So let's go ahead and request the latest weather now. So ATC.com, we are going to use say intentions today. ADSC is connected, message record is erased, and then we can do the weather update. So let's do update all. And here we go, and then let's just print our departure update as well. Okay, and here it is. So, weather for Taiwan International Airport. I'm sorry. Information Yankee. 0608, visibility 4, few clouds, broken clouds, temperature 23, 1007. Alright, and that's what we needed down here. So the rest is looking pretty good. Then let's just go straight back into the preparation here. So oxygen is checked, rain repellent is normal, hydraulic quantities are good, engine oil quantities, powering up FADEC, might take a little while to initialize. Here it is, and oil quantities are good for the flight as well. Then we can close this once again. Alright, so aircraft configuration matches our settings, releasing brake, applying manual brakes, you can see the pressure is slightly decreased, that's looking good, and parking brake is set again. Well, and with that we are set up initially over here. Let's just dim the displays a little bit already. I'll go for something like half over here. Okay, and then let's go into the pre-flight procedures. So, evacuation and captain, crew supply on, flight recorder goes on, ELT armed, everything's set up here. Over here in the middle, everything's set, refueling is complete and set. And on this side, we don't have any DGs, so we can just keep the temperature at 0. CBR test is good, and nothing pulled over there. Alright then, moving down here, everything normal, UNH is set, and over here everything's set as well. And that leads us down to the radio tuning panel, so let's go ahead and find our charts, starting with the ground chart as well as the parking chart. So let's see, we have delivery on 121.8. like this, and then we also have ground, probably departing runway 05 right today, but not 100% sure. So ground on, I guess it's going to be north 121.7, but we'll get the from ATC anyway. So 1217, and then we also need 1215, like this. We can tune the ATIS, suppose we don't need it, 127.6. Like that. Alright, we want to listen to VHF 1 and VHF 2 and the interphone. In the middle, everything's set. Over here, you want to listen to the same stuff. And last but not least, we also want to ensure that we have the transponder selected down here. And that's it. Alright, cool. So everything's done up here, then we can get right into the FMS. Onto the init page. It's the China Airlines 771 from Taipei to Bali, and flight level 400 is selected in here. Let's just get the OFP for a moment. So, minus 52 degrees, tropopause in 56,000. So, minus 52, and the tropopause in 56,000. Like this, perfect. So, the IRS is almost aligned on the GNS position. Departure runway 05 right, I guess. And it's the Kudos 1 Alpha departure. insert, and then arriving into Bali, runway 09, with an RNAV approach, or that will be the MTAS 1 Charlie arrival. Like this. Okay, so very quick check to see if there is any star or any transition from this arrival. So star runway 09 from the north. Let's load that. Here we go, arriving at Kuta. Okay, cool, Champy and insert. Very nice. Then let's continue on back to the init page. Nav aids, we basically don't need any because we are going to fly it all RNAV, but just for the sake of it, let's go ahead and load up our SID chart. SID PTs still not here, unfortunately, but hopefully soon. Okay, so let's see. Kuta's departure is more or less straighter than a right turnout, so there really isn't even any nav aid that we could choose here. Fine with me. So then, fuel and load. Let's see again. OFP. So 171.2. The CG is unknown for the time being, and block fuel is 32. Alright, we don't have any passenger numbers yet. Let's go back down to the fuel section, and that's alternate 2, final 2.4. Like this. Okay, so on to the takeoff performance. Let's go ahead and do some calculations. So, synchronize with the FMS, please. Synchronize the weather. It's a wet runway. 190 tons, and air conditioning can go off. Compute. Looking good, and send to FMS. Confirm. And the data in here is checked. Internal acceleration will be 1600. Alright, so now for the position monitor, we got RCTP. Runway 05 right. Enter. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing on the secondary flight plan. So sec1, import active, flight plan. Now let's go ahead and open up the ground chart. Here it is, runway track 054. So next waypoint will be TPEX2. It will probably not know about that, so place RCTP 05 right. Cursor should have jumped onto the bearing 054 and distance 25. Right, store waypoint, and here it is. So we're going to enter a hold over there as well, and that's looking good the way it is. And then we can make an immediate return to our departure airport, RCTP. Enter. And now for the arrivals, let's select runway 05 right with an ILS approach, and that's the immediate return prepared. And as you can see, they fixed the bug where the departure airport was accidentally inserted over here as well. So with that out of the way, let's go back into our flight plan to the fix info, and over here we can enter the same thing, RCTP 05 right, enter. Where is it gone? Come on. RCTP 05 right, enter. Here it is. Radial 054. And then to the fix page, and that's gonna be TPEX2. Enter, and that's it. Wonderful. So that's our flight plan preparation pretty much complete. What we can do is go to Sec2 and import the active just to have a backup copy over here. And that's all there is. Wonderful. So now we can go up here, and the QNH is set, and everything else is over here as well. Initial climb, I don't know, we'll get that from ATC in a few moments. Then let's go ahead and switch this over into the airport map. Might take a moment now to load. And while we're waiting for that, let's already go down here. We have information Yankee on board. So let's head over to the requests. Clearance, departure. So gate, we're in Alpha 2. And the ATIS is Yankee. Alright, A359, destination Bali, that's all correct. Transfer to mailbox. Request pre-departure clearance, Cal 771, A359 to Bali, RCTP, Alpha 2, ATIS, information Yankee. Alright, that looks quite good to me. So let's go ahead and send this. And send. Alright, wonderful. So surveillance page, transponder standby, that's the important thing. Very good. And you can actually have the airport map as well, please. So last thing for us to do, that's to cross-check our SID. So let's load it up.
Manual, boarding has started and the first passengers are aboard the plane.
Thanks. Okay, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard China Airlines Flight 771 heading to beautiful Bali. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Please find your seats according to your boarding passes and don't forget to stow your
So what do we have
hand
here?
luggage
Expect
where
delay in
beds
response
are
until you have an active flight on the simulator with the
Just
same
holler at one of
tensions
us
app
crew members.
loaded.
We'll be
Okay,
right there to
interesting.
assist you.
I could
Thanks
swear
for
it did
flying
load
with us.
it.
Let's make this a great trip.
But let's just actually try again. Because the app is working now. I think I might just have pressed the request button a bit too early. Let's do that again. So, clearance, departure, gate, Alpha 2. And we have ATIS Yankee. Okay. Oh, look at that. Here is our clearance already. And we don't need to request it again. Cancel. Okay, so clear to Bali. Via the Kudos 1 Alpha departure, maintain 4000. And the departure is on 19.5, squawk 2154, expect runway 5 right. Okay, so Wilco and print. Okay, sent. So, clear to Bali, Kudos 1 Alpha, maintain 4000, 19.5, and the squawk is set, expect runway 5 right. That's looking good. Alright, wonderful. So, Kudos 1 Alpha is confirmed, 4000 is checked, and the squawk is 2154. Okay. And you may record the PAs. Alright, wonderful. So we're pretty much done with everything. Quick departure cross-check. So, straight ahead to Tango Papa, what's that, 064. And then we continue towards Nipas, above 4,500. Like this, and then a right-hand turn in Mount Kudos, like this. Perfect. That's exactly what we need. Alright, very good. So, we are done with this. Then let's go for our departure briefing, please. Alright, departing. Taiwan, runway 5 right. Kudos 1 Alpha, departure initial 4000, and the MSA is 9000 all around the airport. Now, what do we have? Extra fuel and time. Well, it says minus 0.3 at the moment. I don't think we uplinked the weather just yet. Let's do that now. Wind insert. Doesn't seem to make much of a change. That's fine. That's going to correct itself once we're airborne. Alright. Cool. So I have no hotspots for our taxi routing. The runway is more than long enough, so stop margin is plenty. In case of engine out, we climb straight ahead. Just make sure that we don't go south of the extended center line here. Straight ahead for 25 miles. That brings us out to the open ocean. So basically 3,000 would be enough. But let's make it 4,000 because we got the grid Mora of 3900 over here. In case of an immediate return, runway 05 right is selected on our secondary flight plan, so that is available at any moment, and I have really no doubts that we can come back immediately below the maximum landing weight. Nothing special, so all easy going. Okay, apart from that, what do we have? Nothing special, nothing non-standard. Departure frequency, let's see, 19.5. I am going to set that down here just to be safe that we have it at all times, and that's it. Any questions? No? Wonderful. So then let's do the cockpit preparation checklist, please. Gear pins and covers, removed. Fuel quantity. That's 31,900 kilograms balanced. Power ref, QNH 1007. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of China Airlines, welcome aboard flight 771 to Bali. Today's flight time will be 4 hours and 45 minutes. We expect a mostly smooth flight, perhaps some occasional light turbulence due to some strong winds that we are crossing on today's flight. For the time being, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew. Once again, thank you very much for your attention, and welcome aboard. Alright, so far so good. Then let's see what GSX is about. Looks like boarding is completed, so prepare for pushback and departure, please. Ground for flight deck. Please confirm all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed, and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed. Roger, thanks, and we'll call you back for pushback in a moment. Okay, so far so good. Then let's go ahead and get this one going. So, our call sign today is Dynasty 771, and with that, let's give it a go. Just gotta check for the call sign of our ATC over here, actually. Taipei, okay. Taipei delivery, Dynasty 771 Heavy, request startup.
Dynasty 771, contact ground on 121.6 for startup clearance.
121.6, Dynasty 771. Taipei ground, Dynasty 771 Heavy, request pushback and startup.
Dynasty 771, pushback approved. Face southeast.
Pushback approved, face southeast, Dynasty 771. Okay, before start checklist, please. So, park and brake. Set, takeoff speeds and thrust. V1 136, VR 147, V2 152. Actually, that's not even in here. Can you tell that I'm probably flying an aircraft with a slightly different checklist in the real world? In any case, that's checked. So, slides, armed, nose wheel steering disconnect memo checked. Before start checklist complete. Ground from flight deck, push and start approved, facing southeast, and the park and brake is set. So that's going to be to the left. Okay, release brakes. Brakes are released. So, clear to start the pushback, and we're standing by for your clearance to start the engines. And here we go. It's been a little while since we've flown the A350 on this channel. I'm really looking forward to this flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome aboard China Airlines Flight 771 heading to beautiful Bali. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Please find your seats according to your boarding passes, and don't forget to stow your hand luggage in the overhead bins or under the seat in front of you. If you need any help, just holler at one of us crew members, and we'll be right there to assist you. Now let me introduce you to our amazing crew. We got my pals, Mike, Sarah, and Tony, all here to make sure you have a smooth flight. Our captain today is Emmanuel, and our first officer is. We're flying a fancy A350-9, and the expected flight time is about 4
Okay,
hours
clearing
and
the
47
roads,
minutes.
so let's go ahead
Alright,
and
let's
start.
get to the safety stuff, eh? First off, please fasten your seat belts. To buckle up, just insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, just lift the buckle. Easy peasy. In case of an emergency, oxygen masks will drop down from above. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth and adjust the straps.
Okay,
Don't forget to
so
secure
starting
your own
engine number
mask
1.
before helping others, all right?
Clear
Now,
one.
if we need to use the life vests, they're located under your seats. To use them, pull the vest out, slip it over your head, and pull the straps to tighten. Inflate it by pulling the red tabs or blowing into the tubes. And remember, if we gotta evacuate, leave your luggage behind, folks. We got emergency exits located here, here, and here. Point. Just follow the illuminated signs to get to the exits. That's it for the safety briefing, folks. We're all set for a great flight. Oh, and after our meal service, we'll be selling some cool items from the China Airlines shop. Keep an eye out for that. All right, Emmanuel, the cabin is ready for departure.
Alright, thanks. Alright, so that's a good start in engine number 1, starting engine number 2. Clear 2. So engine 2 start. I just really like those ANR sounds. It's so much closer to how you would actually perceive the aircraft in the real world. In the meantime, push complete, set brakes. So it's just so much closer to how you would perceive the aircraft in the real world, which is really nothing like what you usually hear in flight simming. So number 2 has ignition. Okay, we have 2 good engine starts. You're clear to disconnect. Show me the pin on the right hand side, please. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye. Alrighty, so there's the tuck, there's the tow bar, and there's the ramp agent with a pin in her hands. Wonderful. So that's all on board. Flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. After start checklist, please. Anti-ice off, flight controls checked, ground clearance received. After start checklist complete. Dynasty 771, request taxi.
Dynasty 771, taxi to runway 5 right via Papa Echo, Quebec, Quebec 7, Sierra, Sierra 2.
Papa, Echo, Quebec, Sierra 7, Sierra 2, is that it? Taxi to runway 5 right via Papa, Echo, Quebec, Sierra 7, Sierra 2, Dynasty 771. Okay, so very quick check as to where we're going. Papa, Echo, Quebec, and then probably Quebec 1, Sierra, Sierra 2. Okay, we can do that. So clear on the right side and clear on the left side. Brake released. So it rolls nicely on idle, very good. Nonetheless, I will help it a little bit. So brake check, brakes okay. And as always, when we are doing an update, I need to reassign my throttle calibration here. Let's bring those to idle, and let's just quickly reassign idle here. And that's much better. Okay, the right side is clear, the left side is clear, and it's going to be a right-hand turn over here. So Papa, Echo, Quebec. Okay, clear right side. Okay, so I think he said via Echo onto Quebec 7 and then Sierra, didn't he? But let's just ask. Dynasty 771, please confirm our taxi routing. Dynasty 771, say again our taxi route.
Dynasty 771, taxi to runway 5 right via Papa Echo Quebec, Quebec 7, Sierra, Sierra 2.
Papa Echo Quebec, Quebec 7, Sierra, Sierra 2. Dynasty 771. Okay, so Quebec 7 is over here, so then right onto Sierra. Clear left side and clear right side. Okay, so now we're looking good. So now we go towards Sierra 2, which is the second last intersection. So pretty much straight ahead. And it's starting to rain again. So let's do it that way. Intermittent slow, that's all we need. Alright, cool. So, no changes to the takeoff briefing. Runway is wet as we have calculated, and, well, I have nothing special. So that's in, transponder is set, takeoff config. Come on. That should not be dependent on the cabin ready signal. And that should not be dependent on the purser call button. Yeah, that's gonna be bug report. Okay, now it's looking good though. Okay, so taxi checklist please. So, flap setting, config 1 plus F, radar, on, and I tell you what, we're gonna go for weather and U for terrain. Okay, taxi checklist complete. I just really like the depiction of the weather here. It's just looking great, isn't it? The airport itself is looking quite good as well, especially the construction site over there. So our intersection will be the second from the end. The departure chart is ready. And with that we are pretty much ready for departure. We'll just make sure to pass Sierra 3 over here. And then perhaps those taxiways on the right, and then I will tell ATC that I'm ready. Dynasty 771 Heavy, ready for departure. Yes, no, maybe? Sounds like a maybe. Okay, so down to 10 knots. Let's see if he gives us the clearance on our own. Interestingly enough...
Dynasty 771. Contact tower on 118.7. Have a good morning.
118.7, Dynasty 771. Tower Dynasty 771 ready for departure. At least once those animals get clear. Been a while since I've seen some of those.
Dynasty 771 Heavy, Taipei Tower, runway 05 right, wind 040 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 05 right, cleared for takeoff, Dynasty 771. Okay, so... cabin crew, prepare for departure. So that transponder is on, that's everything looking good. So lineup checklist. And we are clear on the approach and clear on the left. The animals are running, perfect. So, cabin secured, TCAS. Actually, takeoff runway, that's 05 right full length. And packs 1 and 2 off, lineup checklist complete. And I'm ready when you are. So let's turn those wipers on and take off. Manflex 69, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. One on it knots.
V1.
Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Nav. Checked. Autopilot 1.
Dynasty 771, contact departure.
Contact departure, Dynasty 771. You should have told me a frequency with that. We're not in the States here. Thrust, decline, climb, auto thrust. Flap 0. Speed checked. Taipei departure, Dynasty 771 Heavy, passing 2000, climbing 4000.
Dynasty 771 Heavy, Taipei departure, radar contact, climb via the SID.
Climb via the SID, Dynasty 771. Okay, so no further altitude clearance. Speed, vertical speed. So let's see if he's going to give us a higher altitude soon, but I think he will. Okay, in the meantime, a little bit of weather, not much we can do then to fly through it, honestly. I'm not gonna fly slower for it or something. A little bit of turbulence. If you book a flight, you have to expect that to happen. 1,000 to go. Okay, so is he eventually going to clear us higher, or is he not? Let's ask. Dynasty 771, request further climb.
Dynasty 771, climb altitude 40,000 feet.
Dynasty 771, climb altitude 40,000 feet. What the hell? Dynasty 771, confirm that is flight level 400.
Dynasty 771, negative. Climb altitude flight level 400, which is 40,000.
Dynasty 771, that makes no sense. Please confirm altitude 40,000 or flight level 400.
Dynasty 771, negative. Climb altitude flight level 400, which is 40,000.
Roger. Okay, that makes no sense. That's gonna be a bug report. That is definitely going to be... Here we go. You can do that right within the app. So you simply select that attention symbol at the very top, and then you can tell it, alright, please do file a bug report out of this. So just to show you what it looks like, up here you have that option, that one over here, and when you hit this, then you can see a report. Problem with this, well, it says audio here, but this is definitely AIATC incorrect instruction, and I have just reported that so that the developers can look at this straight away. But I'm going to tell them separately about it as well, just to ensure that they are going to give it their attention. So, just from the pure looks of it, oh, look at that lovely red. But it looks like we're actually already getting out of it, so let's just keep climbing here. Speed 250. Just to ensure that we actually get on top of it as quickly as possible, because I don't trust the Microsoft Flight Sim weather radar. Now, normally I would, of course, not fly through a red area, but let's see what they have in store for us. And, well, looking out there, that red might actually be true. Dynasty 771, request heading 150 to avoid weather.
Dynasty 771, heading 150, approved to avoid weather.
Heading 150, approved, Dynasty 771. Open climb heading. Well, then if we're already going onto that heading anyway, then we can also accelerate.
We're now at a safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices.
Okay,
Just
cool.
remember to keep them in airplane
So,
mode,
that
right?
is done.
Also,
Quick
I'm
check,
happy to let
transition
you know that our
altitude,
onboard Wi-Fi service is
11,000,
available
that's
now, so
fine.
feel free to connect and enjoy the
So,
flight.
lights off,
After our
definitely
fuel
gonna keep the
service, we'll be
seatbelt
coming
signs
around
on for the
selling
time
some cool items
being.
from the China Airlines
Everything's
shops,
set
so
up
keep an eye
here,
out for that.
and then
Thanks for
optimum
flying with
is
us.
pretty much level 400. So that's looking very good. There is nothing hard-tuned in the nav 8. Look at that, APU. I like that one. Alright, and that's it. Let's see about the CPDLC. So, en route chart, let's zoom out a little bit. So, Romeo Charlie Alpha Alpha. So, connect, notify, Romeo Charlie Alpha Alpha. And notify. Okay, set standard. Standard cross-check, passing flight level 115. Now. Okay. So, let's see. Where are we going to leave the island? Well, I guess they probably want us to fly offshore, so we'll probably be following that route. Maybe direct to Tinho or something is possible. Dynasty 771, clear of weather, request to proceed direct Tinho.
Dynasty 771, proceed direct to Tinho, heading 150 approved.
Proceed direct Tinho, Dynasty 771. And, well, what does that have to do with the heading? That's going to be another bug report real quick. But in the meantime, climb nav. Alright, and then of course a little bug report, because, well, we're going to keep it at that. In any case, we should stay clear of the clouds over here, but I'm going to keep the seatbelts on until we're actually way out of this. But that's everything that I have for you for now, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us.
Bali West, radar on 119.3.
119.3, China, correction, Dynasty 771. Bali radar, Dynasty 771, passing level 147, descending 12000.
Dynasty 771 Heavy, Bali West radar identified. Good afternoon. Expect the ILS runway 27 approach into I Gusty and Gura Rai.
Expect the ILS 27 China, correction, Dynasty 771. Why do I keep saying China Airlines? It's just not an airline that I fly too often. Alright, so the fast belts are going to come on.
Negative. Expect the ILS runway 27 approach into I Gusty and Gura Rai.
Expect ILS 27, Dynasty 771. He probably didn't understand my readback because of the incorrect call sign. But in any case, here we are, and look at that. Quite the beautiful arrival, isn't it? So I promised you we talk a little bit about that volcano eruption that we had on one of the neighboring islands. It's not really relevant anymore since we are now approaching runway 27 instead of runway 09. Even then it would probably not have been too much of an issue, to be honest though. So there's an eruption somewhere over here. Now, if we look at our ATIS, we can see that there is nothing on this in regards to any volcano. If there was anything affecting it, we would see it on the ATIS, so it's really a non-issue today. Nonetheless, we will talk about it for a moment throughout our approach briefing, so there's always that. For the time being, though,
771, descend altitude 3000, QNH 1010.
Descent altitude 3000, QNH 1010, Dynasty 771. So for the time being, let's go ahead and start with our approach briefing. I did do all this setup already. We are basically just coming in for a straight-in ILS approach to runway 27. So if we have a look at that chart, starts in 2000 feet at 6.2 miles, 3-degree glide, go around straight at 1500, left turn direct Bali VOR, minimum 5000, and intercept radial 086 from Bali to Benoa, kilometer 6000, MSA wise 3.5, then 9.7 beyond 15 miles. So fairly easy going for the approach itself. Now let's head over to the right hand seat and talk about it in a bit more detail. So for our arrival, we are following the MTAD 1 Delta arrival, and it's going to be an ILS approach to runway 27. The minimum is barometric 270 and the go around straight at 1500, and then it's a left turn back to Bali VOR, minimum 5000, climbing 6000, and then back towards Benoa. Alright, apart from that, let's see about our extra fuel and time down here. So we have 13 minutes in the form of 1100 kilogram. Right, back to the captain seat, and we are passing 10,000, so lights on, signs on, EFIS is set, and LS selected. We'll do the rest after the...
Dynasty 771 Heavy, proceed direct
Captain,
CI-27.
cabin is ready.
Descend altitude 2500 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 27 approach.
It's time to turn off your electronic devices.
Dynasty 771, proceed direct, 10 miles final, descend 2500 until established, cleared ILS 27.
Here to assist you, so just give us a shout if
Okay.
you need anything. Once we land, our China
Very nice,
Airlines
so
staff
speed brakes
will
coming
provide you
out,
with information
and
regarding
then
your
let's
connection flights. Thank you.
finish up the briefing. So it's going to be a config 3 approach, runway 27, idle reverse, BTV, vacate to the right hand side, no hotspots for the taxi and plenty of stop margin, and I have no specials or non-standards. Threats, definitely the terrain on the right hand side, so terrain display is going to be in use, and I have nothing miscellaneous here. Any questions? No? Wonderful, so that's our approach briefing complete. Then let's go ahead with the approach checklist, please. So, Baro Ref, QNH 1010, minimum Baro 270, runway condition, dry, and auto brake, BTV. Approach checklist complete. Alright, easy going, isn't it? So, we're below the glide already, we're approaching our path again. I like it. It will be a little bit of a tailwind on the arrival, since the wind is 040 at 4 at the moment. Let's go ahead and just update that weather once. So, update. Speed brakes coming in. Okay, so 360 at 5, so it's immediately cross. QNH says 1011 over there now. Let's ask ATC. Dynasty 771, please confirm the QNH.
Dynasty 771 QNH 1010.
QNH 1010, Dynasty 771. Okay, then we're going to stay on 1010. Alrighty, so overflying the decel point, pretty much 15 miles out. I like it. So let's see, tower will be on 18.1. Like this, and ground 18.8. Okay, that should be easy. Well, so far so good. Then we are cleared for the ILS. So you got land 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, glide slope, localizer blue. Fairly easy going today.
Dynasty 771, contact I Gusting Gurau right tower on 118.1.
118.1, Dynasty 771. Bali Tower, Dynasty 771 Heavy, ILS 27. Lockstar.
Dynasty 771
Flaps
Heavy,
one.
I group the Anguilla right tower, wind 360 at 5. Runway 27, clear to land.
Runway 27, clear to land, Dynasty 771. Okay, speed check, flaps 1. Glide slope star. Go around altitude 6000 set. So, look at that. Even though it went in the glide slope star, it flew itself like a third of a dot above the glide. Of course, it should not do that. But for the time being, we are just about fine.
2,500.
Checked. Gear down. And flaps 2. Speed checked. Flaps 2. So ground will be 18.8. And then let's have some fun. So, manual flight. Flaps 3. Speed check, flaps 3. Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. The approach to Bali is just so incredibly nice. Especially on this side here, going in a runway 27. Even though we have a tailwind, I gotta admit, I'm rather happy we're doing this. So, speed is checked, correcting.
Speed, speed, speed.
No, you're not even in VLS, there is absolutely
1,000.
no reason to say speed. Okay, we're clear to land. The cabin is ready. Even though
500.
once again very, very late. But our purser seems a little bit chilled anyway.
400. 100 above.
Checked.
300. Minimum.
Continue.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10. 5.
So, spoilers, reverse green, decel. Knots. Manual brakes.
Dynasty 771, welcome to Agustin and Gura Rai. Contact ground on 118.8.
118.8, Dynasty 771.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just landed at...
Bali ground, Dynasty 771 Heavy, request taxi to gate Alpha 22.
The local time here is 1:09 p.m. Now, before you get too excited, please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. A little fun fact for you. Bali is known as
Dynasty
the island of
771,
gods.
taxi to gate
It's
A22
famous
via
for
November 5, November 4.
beaches and vibrant culture.
Taxi to gate Alpha 22 via November 5, November 4, Dynasty 771. Alright, so this is Alpha 32 over here, so we are
On
going
behalf of
off to
Captain
the
Emmanuel,
right.
First Officer, and the entire crew, including my awesome teammates Mike, Sarah, and Tony, we thank you for flying with China Airlines
GSX
Flight
has once
771. We
again-
hope you have
here
a
we go, that's
fantastic
better.
time in Bali. See you next time.
So, Alpha 22, no follow me needed, handling by whatever. And here we are. So, temperature is 25, that means we can retract the flaps. Alright, so as far as I remember, there is no Alpha checklist in the A350. Nope, there isn't. And that's Alpha 22 up there. Looks like there is some ground staff. Not too shabby. Okay, so Alpha 22, here it is. And here we are. So there is a guidance system over there. Reading A350 on the top. And here we are. So, APU bleed on, park and brake, come on, park and brake on, and shut down. 1, man, what's it doing? And 2, here we go. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Alrighty, so toggle slide arming, and then the slides are disarmed, so we can turn off the fasten seatbelt sign. And here we go. So, GSX, request deboarding please. And then, parking checklist. So, park and brake our trucks, brake set, wing lights are off. And that's the parking checklist complete. So, squawk 2000, then let's check the fuel usage, which is even. 50 kilos more on the left engine, totally fine. 26.4 used, and we should have used 26. Yeah, 0.4, pretty much. Excellent, so fuel usage spot on. Perfect, I like that. Well, my friends, and with this, we are going right into the turnaround. So, if you liked what you've seen on this flight, then be sure to check out this channel's sponsor, Say Intentions AI, in the video description and the pinned comment below. I'm really looking forward to your input on this one. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what we're doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.